Shavuot everybody, and welcome to Havdalah Happy Hour here on the Bethel Podcast Network. I'm Beth.
I'm Jill.
Emily.
Jeremy, that was my fault. You want to restart or keep going?
What was your fault?
I screwed up the intro timing. We're good.
know.
We
I feel
keep
like it
going.
was fine.
All right, we're good.
I also don't know.
We
What
are
is
very
time?
good with the flow,
What is
people.
time?
What is time?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Hi.
that's right. I said all the words, even without the paper.
I know, I
which
was wondering
am,
where
like,
the paper
freaking out about
was.
now.
We're a little off tonight. We're,
I don't know what to do without it.
the snow last week screwed things up in the studio. So
Screw
Yeah.
thing up, I think, for a lot of people.
Yes.
Sure did.
Do you want the paper for the outro?
No, I'll see if I can do it myself.
We're
It'll
gonna
be a fun
wing it.
experiment. We'll see what
Yes.
happens.
Give him a test.
Yeah.
Pop quiz.
So we are back after an unexpected week off.
Yeah, that
Thank
was
you,
my
Snow.
fault. So sorry.
Ben had a
I
bit of
was-
a touch of the
the
of the
plague.
icks.
I had the plague.
The icks.
The plague with
Yeah.
a touch of snow.
The plague, yeah, with the
Or a
touch
lot of
snow. It was, yeah, and I think we were talking about that. This, I think, is like the winter we've seen the most snow in a long time.
Yeah, I can't remember when it didn't snow the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think it was like a
Certainly been more snow than I've
flurries.
seen in
Yeah,
many
right.
years.
From Arizona.
Well, that I imagine is true,
for
seeing
sure.
as you come from a desert.
Yes. I
So
mean,
how are you feeling? You're back?
I am back. I'm feeling much better, thank you. Winter icks not fun for anyone. Don't get it.
no. I mean,
Sounds
the,
like a
the
plan. Let's
I
go.
have heard from a couple of friends of mine that are doctors. Hi, Elise and Risa, that the flu is running rampant.
I don't know if
right
it was
now.
the flu. I don't know what it was.
But you were out for like almost a week,
A
which
week,
is
yeah.
like that's
It's
not
not
you even
you.
missed
Not me.
you missed services on
right.
Shabbat, and that's
And
when I knew.
weekday Torah reading services. It was very unpleasant, and yeah.
But thanks to the people who filled in.
Yes, thank you very much to the
And you
people
were
who helped me out big
Very
time.
missed.
Thank
Oh
you.
my gosh,
Thank you.
desperately.
Out my office door, and there was just a closed door.
I
So
know.
sad.
Trust me, I would have much rather have been here than bedridden for the
Sure.
several days that I was, and it was yeah. So it was a rough one.
Yeah. We had Tu B'Shvat this past week.
Yes, my
Great.
favorite. I love Tu B'Shvat. It's such a fun
I
holiday.
mean, who doesn't love dried fruit?
Well, it depends on the dried fruit. Now,
Sure.
here's the thing.
My stomach.
We put
Right, exactly.
we put prunes.
With dried plums, they're
So
called
that's
now.
the funny thing is they're called dry. And I said
Ben's
to
like, we don't want prunes. I'm
I
like,
s-
okay, let's do dried plums.
I said to Cantor Schuster during the Seder, she's like, I think we call them dried plums. Like, you can call it whatever you want. I'm still not going to eat it because it is
Same.
gross.
I love
No, that's so
prunes.
gross. Do you like them?
Not a fan of prunes.
Ugh.
I really like dates, but only like the darker ones
I like
that
them
are
all.
really soft, not the lighter ones.
Oh,
that
I
are
like
crunchy.
a good
Mm-mm.
sticky date.
I
yeah.
love
Yeah, the
I
darker
I
ones
love
are really
most
sticky.
dried
Delicious.
fruits. I
Yeah,
love.
I like
My,
that.
But
I
like
like
Jeremy said, my stomach does
Figs.
not.
I do like apricot, but I do not like prunes or dried plums or whatever you want to call them. It's gross.
Mhm.
They changed the name because prune had a bad rap, so they call them dried plums now. Because
Well, what's
oh,
the
I love
difference?
plums.
Still a prune.
I know that, and you know, like they don't call raisins dried grapes. Same difference.
It's the same, right? So what would be like?
right?
I don't know.
How those raisins were jumbo.
They were
plump
big
and
raisins.
Juicy raisins.
Yeah, they were good.
I
They were
don't
good.
think everybody realizes what things are when they change state. Like I saw this TikTok not long ago where this lady's like, "Why do they pickle everything but cucumbers?"
You get it?
What are pickles?
Well, that's like also like a regional thing. People call things different things
Mhm.
from depending where you are. Like
True.
Revelation here in Baltimore
Sable.
is sable
Yep.
outside.
I've never heard of Revelation before.
I know, and people are
Sable,
like, "What's
sure.
that?" I was like, "What do you mean? What's that?"
Yeah. You love Revelation.
I do. I love it. It's so good. It's so expensive, but it's so good. It's worth
Yeah,
it. Worth it.
Worth it. So everyone have a good week. Besides, you're back, so
I
you're
am
better.
back. I am better.
The snow wasn't as bad. I
No.
feel like this they
Mm-mm.
predicted this past week.
Right.
It was still not great though. Like it's true. It wasn't as bad as they predicted, but I still had to clean off my car. And I
Yeah.
hate that.
And then we were talking right before we started the podcast that next week they're predicting, which we don't understand, with 100% definite happening, a foot of snow on Thursday. So we'll
Right,
revisit
so
this
far
next
out.
Havdalah. How can they?
So I feel like until they're 48 hours out. Actually, I don't
Not
think
even
I
necessarily.
I
right?
know this from a few meteorologists who I'm friends with. Really, until you're at that 48-hour mark, you just can't be fully accurate. And even then, it can change 6
Do you
times.
consider those meteorologists to be witch doctors?
No comment.
See, I used to always think like being a meteorologist was great because it's like the only job you can get where you can be wrong like a lot of the time and still not get fired or anything like that.
Right.
Because predicting the weather, and I feel like it's gotten a lot more scientific these days than it used to be. Like I feel in the early days of television where they would just pick like a pretty girl to be the weather girl,
Right.
who did not have like a degree in meteorology, and they just read whatever she was supposed to read about.
But
the
now
weather.
it's more science-based, I guess.
Is it though?
Allegedly.
Is it?
Yeah, but the 100% part is the weird part. Like usually on the weather apps, it doesn't say 100%
Right.
unless it's actively snowing. In the
Right,
moment. Otherwise, it's
exactly.
like 95.
But look, this says 100% on Thursday.
Yep.
Why do people hate meteorologists so much?
I never said the word hate. I just am suspicious of their activities because it's akin to me to witchcraft, and that's bad.
You know what we will do in one of the weeks coming up? We will have, as a guest on this show,
Yes.
we will have a meteorologist
I would love to
come
meet
in.
one.
Great.
I already know the person who.
But we're going to have to put
who-
up a wall in between.
That sounds so fun.
Meteorologist mystery date.
We're going to have to ask lots of questions.
I have a lot of questions
How
because
can you know a week
I do not
out?
understand at all how like the weather works. I'm very confused by many, many things. I have many questions. I would love to meet a meteorologist.
I am going to call my friend.
I'm so
We'll-
excited.
We'll censor that in case he says no.
Great.
But
Why would
sure
he say
he'll
no?
do
We'll
it.
feed him. Let's feed him.
Does he
we'll
hate
offer him
us?
food.
We'll call the
Call
pizza
Tove.
place again.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
you go.
Why not?
Right.
Oh, that's exciting to me. I'm super psyched. I would love to meet one from afar.
You know, my stomach hurt after we did the taste test last week, or was that 2 weeks ago?
What's time, Jeremy?
Because afterwards I went on to eat like 10 other things
You
when
had
we
2
were
lunches.
done filming
Well,
in
so
here.
don't blame the pizza.
Oh, I didn't blame the
I'm not
pizza.
blaming the pizza because
No.
I'm still thinking about how great it was.
Oh,
It was
so
great.
good.
And honestly,
And
like
the
I,
ranch.
I might be converted into a dipper now. I might.
Really?
I don't know. I might. I'm still a little on the fence about it, but like
enhances it.
it did enhance it in a way that I was not expecting, and I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. And I think that I would be apt to try it again.
Guys, we have a dipper now.
Yeah, I might be. I'm not committing to anything. Not with 100% accuracy.
Right, like the weather.
Seasoning,
Because-
Parmesan.
yes.
And see how that works for you.
Look, I'm willing to try.
Very
Okay.
good.
But yes, when I was done eating here, I then went on to eat a whole nother meal and just
Aye.
wasn't feeling great. But
No.
Definitely not from the pizza. Better now, though. Except
Well,
for
I'm
all the
glad.
dried fruit
Several
we
weeks
ate this
later.
week. Yes.
Well, look, Tu B'Shvat is such a wonderful holiday, and I really enjoy many things about it. The dried fruit that's fine. Like, it's fine.
I love dried fruit, so I was happy.
But it
with
doesn't
that.
have to be dried. I think
No, it
dried
can
just
be-
makes things easier.
Well,
but,
for us, it was easier
Yeah.
to.
but like any fruit.
Oh,
you
there-
can
there were
eat during Tu
clementines.
B'Shvat. Mhm. I love a clementine. I love a citrus, really, any citrus.
I love
is really
citrus.
good. Except for grapefruit. I don't love it. I
I
will
like-
eat it.
I like with a little bit of sugar on it because it's never very sweet.
I
to
like
me.
the grapefruit, the Ufruf candies.
Oh yes,
That one I like.
The sun kissed.
Yeah.
So before we came on tonight, we started talking about AI. And I,
Ooh.
And the
I
reason we
said, wait
started-
until we turn the podcast machine on because I hadn't heard anything about what's going on.
Let's rewind
let's-
the wonderful world of crazy that we live in.
So
now.
it started during the Super Bowl in certain markets.
Well, right before, I think, right?
Well, in certain markets there was an ad.
Yeah, but didn't he make the tweets
He made
before?
the rants that Kanye West made some rants and many anti-Semitic rants.
Let me quote for you. I am a Nazi. I love Hitler. What you gonna say now?
Right.
And many
So
more
then,
things of the like.
In a few markets during Super Bowl, there was an ad that ran that was Kanye that was advertising
for which he paid like $7 or $8 million.
a T-shirt from his design
Well-
on Shopify, which the T-shirt was.
Well, he was advertising
Not
his
his design.
website.
Well, he
his,
said it
his
was-
website, which he didn't specifically specify what it was that he was selling. It just was his website for his merchandise, which normally features his athletic leisure wear line. But instead, if you clicked it during the Super Bowl, all you got was a shirt featuring a swastika.
a white T-shirt,
White
with a
T-shirt,
black
swastika. That's
it.
it.
The only thing available for
That's
purchase.
Any context behind this? Is
He
there a
hit-
backstory?
He's a Nazi.
The backstory is that he made these ridiculous tweets the same day or the day before, and the people who ran the ad in the store, he hadn't changed it until it was sort of too late. So he sort of pulled the wool over the NFL's eyes and over the broadcast eyes. And I think it's down now, or they
It
cut the link
is.
now. But like, he still sold a significant number of shirts and made a lot of money off of a white T-shirt with a black swastika on it, which is shameful obviously, and goes to the current state of anti-Semitism in not only this country but all around the world. I mean, there's a despicable video going around Australia right now. I don't know if anybody saw. But these two nurses, there's a TikTok influencer, a social media influencer, Max, I can't remember his last name, but he goes on like chat roulette, or like a version of chat roulette, which pairs you up randomly with people all over the world that you can talk to. And he met these two nurses from Australia, and they asked him where he was from, and he said he was from Israel. And they basically started this whole anti-Semitic rant saying how their favorite thing to do is to kill Jewish patients, and like, you're going to die soon. And because of, it's despicable.
Gross.
They've already been fired, and Australia is having a huge anti-Semitism
I feel like I
right
did
now.
read something on the internet a couple days ago where someone had testified or said something that yes, they've killed Israeli patients in different hospitals. So
this video.
I thought that was isolated, but that's all related to this.
It's just the the climate of anti-Semitism around the world right now, where people feel emboldened to be able to make these comments with no repercussions because there aren't any. Like, nobody is getting in trouble, although those nurses were fired. But Kanye is able to say these despicable things, and nobody's really, said anything about it, except that this AI video sort of appeared afterwards with which featured a bunch of
Jewish
Jewish celebrities.
Somebody must have typed into AI, create a video with Jewish celebrities wearing a T-shirt.
It's a white T-shirt.
A white T-shirt with a hand with a middle finger sticking up with a Jewish star, and it says Kanye
F
on
Kanye
it.
on it.
Yeah.
So that's
now
what
the shirt,
is
by the
AI.
way, is
So
great.
The shirt,
It's a great shirt.
The entire video is AI.
So the celebrities weren't actually doing that.
Right.
Correct.
So some of them are pretty upset that their likeness was used in this video.
So this
and it
was
was being shared
widely.
And this
Very
is someone that is anti Kanye West.
Now, the only celebrity off the top of my mind, not the only, the one that comes, David Schwimmer has been very outspoken.
He
about,
I think wrote to Musk and like told him he should kick Kanye off X or Twitter or whatever it's called now.
But none of these celebrities actually did the video.
Correct. Although his likeness was featured in it. But he actually has made comments about Kanye specifically. But, there's two sort of problems with this AI video. One, of course, it's not good to use people's likenesses without their permission for a political statement or a statement against any cause or whatever.
Or really anytime.
Anytime.
Using
right.
their
Anytime.
likeness that can get them in trouble.
Right.
Let's look
Correct.
back at what's happened in other
Yes,
situations.
100% correct. And then the second, there's also sort of like the other underlying thing is a lot of these celebrities in general, not just Jewish celebrities, but celebrities in general, with few exceptions, in Hollywood have been largely quiet and silent after October 7th, have refused to condemn Hamas or haven't, been as supportive of the Jewish community or just been plain old quiet and haven't said anything.
You okay?
And,
I'm good.
it's kind of like, a lot of the anti-Semitism that we're experiencing today is the result of October 7th and its aftermath. And, it's just a weird sort of thing to have, a lot of the people that were featured in that video that have been, the Jewish community is sort of like, we've been, asking for your support and you haven't given it to us. And like, now you're in this video, but now it's AI. So
and I don't think any of them would say anti-Semitism is a great thing.
No,
none of them
that's
would.
true.
However, they don't want their likenesses used. And
I get it.
I get it.
I get it.
I get it. But also, why aren't you standing out
Now,
up against
here's
anti-Semitism?
the other thing.
Is the anti-Semitism.
Correct.
Right.
Right.
And none of this would
And,
have
and this goes back to the past year where we've seen tons of anti-Semitism, especially like a lot of Nazi imagery, a lot of Nazi things, and nobody's said anything about it, except for in certain cases, you see it's a lot of selective criticism. And I feel like for the past year, when, we've seen these Nazi ideology, people have been just like, oh, it's fine. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And here you have Kanye West saying, literally, I am a Nazi. I love Hitler. And nobody says anything about it. Like, it's
Not one
insane to
thing.
me. Like, it is insane to me. And I feel like if somebody else were to say it, then, oh my God, how dare you? Like,
Because I'm here to tell you, he has mental illness. I don't care. He is still an anti-Semite, and people need to call it out, whether he has mental illness or not. He's still spewing hate.
anti-Semitism is not a mental illness.
Right. That's exactly what I'm
Sorry,
saying. Like,
it's
people
not.
are using that as an excuse,
It's not
and it's
an
not an excuse.
It's not.
To spew that.
Correct. Or other people that are
Defending
making
it.
Other gestures and saying that that's not what they meant by that. Like, let's control our words and our bodies and make sure that we're just being kind.
But
Right.
wouldn't that
Don't
be
have
like
to
a novel
agree.
concept?
We don't have to agree, but we just
So
Right.
No, but
there,
I think we should all
Kind.
agree that anti-Semitism is bad.
Yes,
agree.
that I think.
100%.
to your
just
point,
like the weather, 100% chance.
Right.
that it is
Although
bad.
Correct.
I looked at 3 other apps, and none of those weather apps are saying anything's happening on Thursday, but the one is saying
See,
100%.
I'm super suspicious.
It's so weird.
to your point, when you walk through the Holocaust Museum in D.C., there is a quote towards the end of the museum that starts with, "First they came for,"
yeah,
Right.
right.
and I think that just
So you know
sums
what's
up.
funny about that
You-
poem? That's a whole poem.
Yeah.
By I think his name is Martin Niemöller.
That's exactly who it is. It's first they came for the socialist.
Right.
Then was it the trade unionist? I'm gonna.
It's the whole list of
Then they
people.
came for me.
And
And
there
Right.
was no
It was-
one left.
Right now,
Yeah.
but that Martin Niemöller was actually a Nazi.
Oh.
Like that's a thing that people don't sort of realize.
Hmm.
Now he was a later repentant Nazi who felt
He felt bad.
badly,
Nobody was there to stand up.
but
for him,
later on. But initially, during Hitler's rise to power, he was initially supportive of many of Hitler's ideas.
We have
So-
we have it pulled up now. First they came for the communist, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist.
Right.
Then they came for the socialist, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. And then it ends with, as Jill said, then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me.
Right. So I don't like to use the poem anymore because of its associations with, but he ended up on the wrong side of Nazis'
Right.
ire, and so ended up writing this poem.
But
and,
the
and repented. But the idea
of
is
that
100%
goes
correct.
right to what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
exactly
now.
right. And I feel like there's going to be a reckoning one of these days, and I feel like a lot of these dumb college kids in particular are going to feel real stupid later on in their lives when all of these things come back to haunt them, which I think they will.
I hope they do.
It's the internet is forever, friends.
Correct.
Let's not forget, that. And, just social media. And I can't remember who I was listening to. It was somebody on social media, or it was somebody that was talking about, and he said something interesting that like anti-Semitism isn't new, but social media is.
Right.
And
It's
I
true.
was like, oh, that actually was quite profound.
It's permanent.
But then, and the way that social media is able to spread all kinds of information rapidly to anywhere in the world.
Right. People can take screenshots.
Right.
It's going to affect people's ability to get certain jobs.
When my kids were little, Bethel, they must have been in middle school. Bethel had a social media forum for religious school parents and preschool parents and anyone that wanted to come. And the tone, David left with this, it's public and permanent for everyone to see, and it never goes away. So what you post as a 13-year-old, when you're applying for jobs when you're 23, someone's going to find it.
And
Yeah.
don't think for 1 minute because, only my friends are my
Nope.
friends on Facebook.
Nope. That's
Not
someone's
the case.
screenshot and
Yeah.
it's out there.
Yep.
And the way it's able to spread anti-Semitism, especially with a lot of the younger people today who consume their news only from TikTok, of all places, is sort of dreadful.
Well, and while we're PSAing here, which we've been very good about, you should also be careful of what you put in emails and texts because somebody who's your friend might not be your friend
That's
forever.
very
and
true.
Don't put things in print
That's
Right.
right.
that you don't want shared.
Right.
That's right.
It's true.
Yeah.
What a crazy world we live in. I remember the early days of the internet when it was like funny animal videos. I remember the first video on YouTube was just like a guy at a zoo.
Yeah.
Like, and like, the early days of the internet was sort of like such a, what a time to be alive, because at the time, the way, it was kind of interesting that you could share information all over the world. And that's like a good thing in general, to be able to learn from other people from all over the world, learn about different cultures, different people, different whatever, history, all sorts of things that can flow from, one place to another. And that I don't think is a bad thing. But what I do think is a bad thing is the way people are able to sort of manipulate and mishandle and mistransmit and disinform people. And that is also the reverse side of the coin. So I would like us to go back to the fun animal videos. It'd be great.
You've got mail.
Right. Yeah. And like,
After 5 minutes of your dial-up
and
connection.
remember like the old websites used to have like all the like flashy, like
They did?
Yeah, you don't remember like the early days of the like, especially Hotmail websites would have like
oh yeah, like the
like
ad,
these like
a
flashy
banner on the
or like
top
whatever
or
it was.
something.
It was like, because the early days of websites, coding wasn't what it is now, and people thought it was like a fun thing, and I guess it was at the time. But now you like look back at some of those things, you're like, oh my god, like what were you doing?
Yeah.
It's crazy to me.
Guys, guess what time it is?
I think it's time for Shonda of the week.
Take
all right.
your pick after the last
I
10
know.
minutes.
I know, right? It's been a lot of
Shondas.
lot of Shondas. Jill, you're up.
I mean, before we, all morning I try to imagine what my Shonda will be because I don't want to ever be caught without a Shonda. And my Shonda was Kanye. I didn't know we were going to be discussing Kanye, but I'm going to stick with it.
No, it's a terrible Shonda.
Because he is a deplorable human being, and I am embarrassed that I even could breathe the same air as someone like that.
I think, and also like the other Shonda is the fact that no one is like no one seems to care.
Although Savannah Guthrie was very upset on the Today Show on Thursday morning.
So this is like another example of people saying, "Oh, like you guys are overreacting to this."
Yeah,
like,
I don't think we
when
are.
Jewish people ring the bell of anti-Semitism, it's not like for funsies,
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Like we get to decide.
We know our
you don't get to
history.
tell. So we know our history. We know what's going on. So for the people to not take it seriously or just be like, oh, you guys are overreacting, that's, I think, the bigger Shonda of all of this, because we know Kanye is a whack job and he's already made anti-Semitic comments in the past.
This is not new.
It is not new. So
Why
yeah.
he's still part of culture and still a relevant topic and relevant, I don't understand. He should be irrelevant.
Yeah.
Well, if people would just unfollow him and
Kanye
click the
has
little
more
X.
followers than there are Jews in the world.
Right.
How about that?
Yeah. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Well, my Shonda will be the same as Jill's. Kanye, easy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got Kanye, anti-Semitism. Yes, I agree with all of that. However, mine is very, very different, which is that, so today was my birthday and we had birthday cake, which I loved. However, the one thing I really wanted for my birthday was
Happy
to have-
birthday.
Although
Thank
it's not
you.
was your birthday, it still is
It
your
still is my
birthday.
birthday.
So happy birthday.
Wait, no,
Thank you.
because the Jewish day
Oh,
starts in
right,
the nighttime, so it's already
right.
really tomorrow.
Right.
But happy birthday.
Although, what
Even though it
time
was
were
my
you
English
born?
Birthday, I was
What time of day were you born?
in the middle of the afternoon.
Okay, so you were so it's over.
But the one thing I really wanted for my birthday was a sushi cake, and
Oh,
one of the
yum.
local places had in their advertising that they made sushi cakes. And when Max went to go buy one for me, they said they no longer make them anymore.
That
Jerks.
is such a Shonda.
What is a
Seriously.
sushi cake?
So it's like a layered rice and fish and avocado and cucumber, and I've never
Nothing
had
you
one,
would eat.
and I really wanted
Do
one.
they make
Not for
it
you,
in
Jeremy.
the bakery at the Gucci Johnny?
No.
I've never had one, really wanted one, and now I don't get one. So that's my
Aw.
Shonda.
That is a Shonda.
Yeah.
I too was going to go with the anti-Semitism, but since we have talked about that at length, I will go to a different story that I read that shocked me, that apparently the city sheriff's office overpaid their deputies to the tune of like $2 million.
Whoops.
Right. That's what they're saying is like, oops. And then apparently in the article I read, like one of the people in the department was like, well, they deserve to be paid as much as city police officers. And so there was an inspector general's investigation. There was a whole big what to do about it. And they're still not 100% sure if people are going to have to pay that money back. But like, I don't like financial mismanagement of taxpayer dollars. Is one of the things as a former federal employee that really bothers me. So I think that is a terrible Shonda, and I hope that they find something to
In
fix it.
Baltimore?
Yes.
Oh.
So I briefly heard about this the other day, but not enough to actually provide any type of informative or
Yeah, this was just a quick article that I scanned. So
anything that's relevant. But what my questions would be, was
many.
this done? Well, yes, many. But first, was this done intentional? Was it done maliciously to defraud the city? Are we talking about fraud, or are we talking about
a glitch in the system.
correct? some sort of glitch that may have caused this to happen.
From the article that I read, I'm not getting glitch. I think somebody's going to say it was a glitch, is my prediction.
Well, I can tell you in these types of situations, most likely the inspector general initiated an investigation because someone came forward, a whistleblower or someone with information. And if they find that there may have been this was intentional to do, then they'll turn it over to probably the state's attorney's office, the police department. They'll work together and do an
Do
investigation.
you remember that time that I submitted a complaint to the inspector general about the fire hydrant that went on for all this time? And they sent me this email back. Thank you for your whatever. That wasn't really a complaint. Well, I guess it was a complaint.
It was a complaint.
Yeah, thank you for this information. We're not going to tell you anything about it. And yeah, good luck to you. It was pretty much the gist of the email.
So funny.
It was
So
really
what
hilarious.
What the backstory?
What?
They wrote back.
They
That's
did
true.
write back, but I have like no idea. And they said that like these types of Maryland law doesn't require us to like share information with you. I was like, oh, all right then. Well,
So what the backstory was is the fire hydrant right in front of the building opened up
during
one day.
Pesach. It was during Pesach.
But the bigger, and it didn't open up a little bit.
No,
it was
it
a
was-
strong stream
You
of
had to
water.
split the sea.
For like 9 hours is
Yes.
the problem.
The issue was it was reported to the fire department and to the Department of Public Works.
well, early on.
Fire department came out, and I guess they said they couldn't shut it off or there was an issue. So then they reported it to the Department of Public Works, and this thing ended up staying on for so long. Did it break something here? Something happened.
Yeah, it did. Something happened.
As a result of that, maybe did the water main break because
Something,
of it?
yeah.
yes.
Yes.
But
But
you called in a favor.
let's not talk about the favor I called in on. You said that before I could even bleep, but
Because we wanted a day off of work.
but yes. Finally, at that point, I called someone who I said, "This is absurd."
really was
was
absurd.
absurd.
Yeah, it's just
It was
someone.
outrageous.
It's
so
been
absurd.
9 hours.
It was
on
outrageous.
like one of the major Jewish holidays.
It was such a waste.
on
On our
a
driveway.
major intersection,
right,
though.
such
the
a
huge
waste of
intersection.
water
It was, well, that a colossal waste
But
of
it was
water.
a safety hazard.
Safety
Right.
hazard. There were
So
so
if-
many things.
After 9 hours, I finally wait a minute. This is absurd.
It's so
Somebody, or
absurd.
I'm gonna go pick up a wrench and go out and turn. And they came out, but
They did.
unfortunately, one of the mains had already
Yeah,
broken.
it was
Yeah,
bad.
It was bad. It was bad. And the road was patched up for
Oh my God,
weeks.
remember that?
Mm.
With the cones. I hate when they put cones out there. Anyway, and the
Anywho.
email that the inspector general sent me back was unsatisfactory. Shonda, double Shonda.
Well, on that note,
Well, you've been listening to Havdalah Happy Hour here on the Bethel Podcast Network. You can go and find us wherever you go to listen to your favorite podcasts. Also, remember, you can text our show. And be sure to like and follow us on all of our social media platforms, including but not limited to Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all the fun things. Shavua Tov, folks. Have a great rest of your week.
Shavua Tov. Happy birthday, Emily.
And happy birthday.